In this online exclusive half hour, we'll hear more from the 5 filmmakers whose work is featured in the 2023 edition of Indie TV, local short films from Indie Memphis on WKNO.
I have a friend who is a pilot here in Memphis, but he's also a part of the Air National Guard, and he volunteered to go to Afghanistan and fly troops and refugees, on various legs of the withdrawal effort that was happening in Afghanistan in 2021. And when he returned home safely, thank goodness, and we began to catch up about his experiences there, I also began to talk with his wife, who's a close friend, about what it was like for her to be home while he was gone doing that. And the idea for the short, began to form as I had conversations with her about her experience taking care of their young kids and being worried about his safety while he was in Afghanistan. And it became clear to me that it might be a very high stakes, interesting way to explore fear, anxiety, our relationships with our devices, our relationships to the news, when those things hold life and death information for someone who has a loved one that's in the middle of an event that might be happening, where she has to interact with those devices and with the news and get her information about what's happening from that. Lauren's a great actress, and she and I had worked on a couple of things in the past together, and she was someone that I had always wanted to direct in a film. And when this idea began to percolate, and I thought maybe this would be a good short film, and I knew that it would be a female around her age, she was sort of top of the list to ask to do it. She's done a lot of training, both for stage and screen, and so she brings kind of this highly trained ability to what she does. And she's the kind of actor who will do something the same way every single time. She's thinking about continuity. She's also thinking about where she needs to drop in emotionally to her character at any given moment. One of my favorite anecdotes about working with Lauren on this short was that there's a scene towards the end where she comes into the garage as she's been both met with the news that there's been a bombing at the airport in Kabul, but also she gets a barrage of text messages from people, and she feels completely overwhelmed. And the scene prior to that, where she's watching the news in the living room, and the scene where she comes into the garage and gets this onslaught of text messages, were shot about an hour and a half apart. But when we filmed that scene in the garage, in her eyes were some tears, and you could tell that she had instantly gotten back to a place emotionally that she hadn't been for an hour and a half while she waited on us to set up in the garage. And those kinds of skills as an actor that she brought to it were really amazing to work with. In earlier drafts of the script, I had the character finding the peace she finds at the end after learning that her husband is safe. But it was my wife Emily who suggested actually she should find that on her own, and then we can learn that he's safe, presumably, but she doesn't know that yet. And I think that's what makes it so powerful. So I love Indie Memphis. I'm a huge fanboy of the festival, and it has meant so much to me over the years. The programmers at Indie Memphis have always embraced my short film work, and to have my short films selected for the festival, played at the festival, and then some of them win awards at the festival is validating, but not because it's about awards or some external validation, but because it's a celebration of everyone's hard work, and that is incredibly meaningful and impactful as a filmmaker. So when I can go to the festival and I can sit with the cast and the crew and we can all enjoy on the big screen like the fruits of our labor, that is an incredibly meaningful feeling that kind of completes the circle on the whole project. And Indie Memphis specifically has always been a big part of the life cycle of my creative work.